Listen up, life isn't waiting to break you. It is watching to see if you don't break first. Every day, something tries to steal your peace. A careless word, an unexpected delay, someone is judgment. These errand attacks, they retests. Will you cave in or stand unshaken? Most people hand their peace to whoever annoys them first. Their emotions swing like an unlocked gate, letting anyone create chaos. But Stoicism flips this. Your mind is your fortress. Your calm is your property. Nobody should have power to take it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you find strength. When you protect your calm, you not becoming emotionless. You becoming unshakable. Here is the truth. Calm is something you reborn with. It is a skill you train. The Stoics practice daily, knowing other people's actions are outside their control, but their reactions are theirs to command. The 12 Stoic principles you about to learn are shields for everyday life. Each gives you a tool to keep your calm and live strong instead of scattered. People expect you to react because reactions give them control. When you don't react, you take away their power. That is why calm people are quietly intimidating. When you live this way, days feel lighter, problems feel smaller. You stop living like a hostage and start living like a commander of your own mind. Elizabeth Kenny wrote, "He who anchors you conquers you." Let us make sure no one conquers you. If you are ready to protect your calm, type, "My calm is my power." Like this video, share it, subscribe, and don't skip any part. Every principle builds on the last. Number 1, guard your mind. Your mind is your most valuable asset. If you lose it to negativity, fear, or anger, everything else starts breaking down. Yet most people guard their money, homes, and image more carefully than their own thoughts. Think of your mind as a garden. Without protection, weeds grow, unwanted, ugly, difficult to remove. Those weeds are harmful ideas, toxic influences, self-destructive beliefs. You can stop every seed from landing, but you can stop it from taking root. Seneca, the Stoic thinker, once pointed out that we experience more pain through our thoughts than through actual reality. His meaning, a lot of our mental pain doesn't come from real events, but from what we allow to replay over and over in our heads. Without protecting your mind, your thoughts will take one small problem and transform it into a never-ending cycle of suffering. Protecting your mind begins with a simple question. What am I allowing inside? Every discussion, every news story, every rumor you hear acts like a potential seed. Some seeds will develop into bravery and insight, while others will develop into worry and bitterness. You get to decide which ones stay. Here are 3 straightforward methods to protect your mind daily. First, manage what you consume. The news articles you read, the content you watch, and the voices you listen to either strengthen you or drain you. Cut back on sources that pump you full of panic or rage. Invest more time in content that brings you mental clarity, optimism, and balance. Second, monitor your internal dialogue. Everyone has that voice inside their head. If you allow it to run loose with harsh self-judgment, it'll wreck your inner peace. Instead, fill it with thoughts rooted in reality and resilience. Tell yourself things like, "This situation is temporary," or "I've gotten through tougher times than this." Third, take a moment before accepting any idea. Not every viewpoint deserves room in your head. Listen to what people say, but only absorb it if it benefits you. Even the ancient Stoics would hear criticism, but they personally decided whether it had value worth keeping. Protecting your mind isn't about shutting yourself off from society. It is about interacting with society on your own conditions. You listen, but you select what to retain. You observe, but you determine what to accept as truth. This approach prevents random people, alarming headlines, and minor annoyances from robbing you of your peace. Once this becomes your routine, you spot a transformation. Other people's emotional states will stop controlling yours. Urgent breaking news won't rattle you, and the never-ending noise of modern life will begin feeling remote, similar to ocean waves crashing on a distant beach. An unprotected mind responds to absolutely everything. A protected mind deliberately selects its responses. Drop a comment saying, "My mind, my fortress." If you rededicated to fiercely protecting your thoughts. Principle number 2. Wait before you answer. One of the fastest ways to surrender your composure is by speaking without thinking. A hasty response can turn into something you regret for years. Once your words exit your mouth, there is no pulling them back. And those words carry the ability to shatter trust, wreck relationships, and escalate situations. The Stoics understood this reality, which explains why they mastered the skill of pausing. Before responding, they'd take a moment to breathe, assess what was happening, and consider whether their words would create good or cause damage. Zeno of Citium, who established Stoicism as a philosophy, put it this way: it is better to stumble with your feet than stumble with your words. That one statement contains incredible wisdom. A physical stumble might sting briefly. A verbal stumble can create wounds that stick around for years. Waiting before responding doesn't mean staying silent permanently. It means creating enough room to select your words with care. When someone disrespects you, pausing for a few seconds can prevent you from launching back with something you wish you hadn't, he said. When someone poses a challenging question, waiting lets you deliver an answer that is well considered rather than knee-jerk. During emotional moments, your brain typically shuts down its logical functioning. Anger, fear, or shame grabs the wheel, while your thinking brain gets shoved to the passenger seat. By introducing a pause, you allow your logical mind to reclaim control before you open your mouth. The pause also communicates something powerful without words. You're not being controlled by the pressure of the moment. You control your own pace. This explains why composed people appear so self-assured. They don't scramble to defend themselves or make their point heard. They operate on their own schedule. You can build this skill in everyday situations. When someone poses a question, breathe once before responding. If a text message irritates you, hold off for several minutes or even hours before typing back. If someone is pushing you to make a quick decision, request time to consider it properly. This brief waiting period frequently uncovers something valuable. Many situations don't actually require an instant response. Some situations even work themselves out with zero input from you. Waiting before responding also gives you a chance to examine why you want to speak. Are you preparing to talk simply to come out on top, simply to protect your ego, or are you speaking to genuinely assist, resolve, or explain something? The Stoics taught that if your only motivation is ego protection, staying quiet is the wiser choice. This practice won't just prevent unnecessary fights, it'll also build respect for you. People place their trust in those who don't speak recklessly. And when they witness you responding with composure instead of blowing up, they understand they can manipulate you through pressure or provocation. The modern world runs at high speed, and it craves instant reactions. But true calm gets built in that space between what occurs and what you decide to say. The wider you make that space, the more solid your peace becomes. If you choosing to think before speaking, comment, I pause, I think, I answer with calm. Principle number 3. View problems as training. Most people treat problems like unwelcome interruptions. Something stops working, somebody lets you down, your plans crumble, and your first thought is, why is this happening right now? Why does it have to be me? But the Stoics turned this perspective completely around. They approach problems as exercises for developing mental and spiritual strength. If you only worked out your muscles during easy, comfortable times, you'd never build any real strength. Your mind operates the exact same way. Real power comes from pushing against resistance, not from relaxing in comfort. Every difficult situation gives you an opportunity to improve your self-discipline, your ability to wait patiently, and your capacity to remain composed. Musonius Rufus, a Stoic teacher from Rome, stated it clearly: no person is truly free unless they control themselves. And self-mastery doesn't develop during pleasant times. It develops when you being tested. Remember the last time something frustrating happened to you. Maybe your flight got delayed. Maybe a customer treated you poorly. Maybe something in your house broke down. While you were experiencing it, it seemed like nothing but a problem. But looking at it through the Stoic lens, it was actually a practice session. Each roadblock functioned as a workout for building your patience and toughness. Once you start viewing problems as training opportunities, they lose much of their ability to disturb you. Rather than feeling like the world is working against you, you understand the world is actually preparing you for something greater. Every holdup helps you learn patience. Every disagreement helps you develop better listening skills. Every failure helps you learn to keep going. This isn't about pretending to love difficulty. It's about extracting value from it. Picture a fighter who only practices when he's in the mood. He'll get demolished the instant a real match starts. But a fighter who trains against tough opposition, even when he is exhausted, will be prepared for whatever comes his way. The exact same principle applies to your life. The minor daily frustrations you encounter are like mental training sessions. They're getting you ready for the larger challenges that life will definitely throw at you eventually. Here is how you put this into action. Reframe the question. Stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Start asking, "What skill is this developing in me?" Track your improvement. Think back to challenges from your past that used to completely wreck your calm. Now look at how much better you handle similar situations today. That improvement is evidence you regrowing. Use frustration as a development opportunity. Each time you maintain your cool during a minor problem, you rebuilding up strength for handling major ones. The Stoics also recognize that problems expose our true nature. Anybody can stay calm when everything is going perfectly, but your genuine character emerges when things get difficult. If you fall apart at the tiniest obstacle, you're not prepared. But if you've been training yourself, you'll remain stable no matter what chaos surrounds you. The next time a problem shows up, tell yourself this: it is not simply an interruption. It is an examination, a rehearsal, and an opportunity to become stronger. You're not suffering as a victim in this moment. You relearning as a student, and what you learn will benefit you for the rest of your life. If you recommitted to becoming stronger through life, its difficulties, declare, "Every problem is training for my strength." Principle number 4, expect some trouble. One of the fastest methods to lose your composure is believing life ought to run without problems. That belief guarantees constant disappointment because actual reality will contradict you every single day. The Stoics sidestepped this mental trap by anticipating that difficulties would arrive, not because they had gloomy attitudes, but because they understood reality clearly. They recognized the world contains flawed people, unpredictable circumstances, and situations that refuse to follow your plans. When, a storm is approaching, you don't freak out when you spot dark clouds forming. You were already mentally prepared. Epictetus explained it in straightforward terms. Before you step out of your house, remind yourself that you might encounter uncomfortable cold, oppressive heat, soaking rain, unpleasant company, or selfish behavior. This isn't negativity. It's protective mental preparation. If you begin each day acknowledging you might encounter disrespect, unexpected delays, or various problems, you emotionally ready for them. And when they actually occur, they don't rob you of your peace. They simply validate what you already anticipated. This concept functions effectively in both minor and major situations. If you anticipate heavy traffic, you want to become furious when you sitting in it. You factored it into your plans. If you anticipate that some people will misinterpret you, their negative comments want to hurt as deeply. You predicted it might happen. Anticipating trouble doesn't mean you hoping for it. It means you accepted the reality that difficulty is woven into life itself, and this acceptance prevents you from feeling shocked or knocked off balance when challenges surface. Here is how you can implement this approach. First, begin your morning with a brief mental preview. Visualize small annoyances that might occur and imagine yourself responding with calm composure. This transforms them from shocking surprises into manageable practice scenarios. Second, mentally practice patience ahead of time. Consider potential conflicts before they actually happen. Decide in advance that you'll pause, take a breath, and respond thoughtfully. Third, accept that other people will act like imperfect humans. People will forget things, make mistakes, and annoy you. That is simply part of sharing life with other people. When you anticipate trouble, you quit burning energy wishing reality was different. You accept reality exactly as it exists, and then you concentrate on what remains under your control, specifically, how you choose to react. Consider an experienced traveler. They don't throw a fit when their flight gets delayed. They've experienced it multiple times before. They simply make adjustments without drama and continue forward. You can adopt this exact same approach toward life. They weathered difficulties in the past, and you'll face them in the future. but they also made it through every single one so far. And here is what is interesting. Once you become accustomed to anticipating some difficulty, you begin realizing that plenty of days turn out better than you expected. That unexpected positive outcome feels like a bonus rather than something you just assumed you deserve. Inner peace created by wishing for flawless days. It is created by preparing yourself for days that want to be perfect. Principle number 5, to give away your peace. Your inner peace resembles a lit candle. It illuminates your thoughts, provides warmth to your soul, and brightens the environment around you. But if you pass that candle to every person you encounter, you shouldn't be shocked when someone extinguishes it. Here is the reality. Most people surrender their peace way too quickly. One disrespectful remark, peace vanishes. A minor holdup, peace disappears. Someone holds a different opinion, peace evaporates. Before you realize what is happening, you allowing complete strangers, traffic conditions, and news stories to dictate your emotional state. The Stoics identified this as one of the biggest errors any person could commit. Your peace doesn't belong to the public. It is your private possession. Seneca expressed it this way: a wise person finds satisfaction within themselves and doesn't require validation from others. If you constantly need everyone's blessing, your peace will forever depend on their opinions. But if your peace originates from inside yourself, nothing external can steal it away unless you grant permission. That word, permission, is crucial here. Nobody can force you into anger or stress unless you consent to participate. They can present chaos to you, but you get to decide whether you accept their offer. This is where self-discipline transforms into genuine strength. It happens when you refuse to let other people drag you into their emotional chaos. Consider it like this. Picture someone offering you a present, but you choose not to accept it. Who still owns that present? They do. Insults function identically. If you refuse to accept them, they remain the property of whoever delivered them. Here are 3 strategies to safeguard your peace. First, identify your weak spots. If specific subjects, individuals, or circumstances typically upset you, mentally prepare yourself before encountering them. Second, choose to respond rather than simply react. A reaction happens immediately and emotionally. A response happens slowly and intentionally. Always strive for the second option. Third, maintain proper perspective. Question yourself, will this situation matter 7 days from now, 30 days from now, a year from now? The vast majority of things won't matter at all. Once you stop surrendering your peace, people may discover you more difficult to upset. That's because they become unpredictable in the most positive sense. You're no longer following their script. Some individuals might even call you detached or emotionally unavailable, but that is inaccurate. You simply existing according to your own standards, not conforming to theirs. Eventually, this self-command becomes attractive to others. People feel drawn to those who maintain composure during turmoil because that quality is incredibly uncommon. And even more significantly, you begin feeling truly unshakable, like nobody can pull you into unnecessary conflict unless you deliberately choose to step into it. This philosophy isn't about isolating yourself from society. It is about avoiding pointless conflicts. Life presents enough genuine challenges without squandering energy on trivial matters. Once you grasp that your peace holds more value than any disagreement, you quit exchanging it for meaningless short-term victories. You discover that maintaining calm is the ultimate triumph. Comment: peace is priceless. To remind yourself that your composure belongs exclusively to you. Principle number 6. Ask, will this matter later? One of the quickest methods to preserve your calm is comparing the magnitude of the problem against the magnitude of your entire life. Most situations that disturb us seem enormous while we re-experiencing them, but they shrink down to practically nothing as time passes. The Stoics grasped that perspective equals power. They understood that most anxieties are just temporary disturbances moving through your life. That's why they practice stepping backward mentally and questioning themselves. Will this issue matter tomorrow? Will it matter 30 days from now? Will it matter when I'm looking back at the end of my life? Marcus Aurelius offered this guidance. When something irritates you, remember that the situation doesn't deserve your anger. This doesn't suggest you should dismiss everything. Certain problems genuinely matter and require your action. But a huge portion of daily frustrations, the gridlock traffic, the passive-aggressive comments, the minor errors, simply one to hold any significance over time. Posing this question during an intense moment accomplishes two things. First, it decelerates your response. You transition from emotional knee-jerk reaction to rational evaluation. Second, it reduces the problem, its apparent size. What appears like an insurmountable barrier directly in front of you might actually be just a small bump when examined from a broader view. Here is how you apply it practically. When another driver cuts into your lane, question yourself, will I even retain a memory of this incident 7 days from now? When a colleague irritates you, ask yourself, will this specific moment alter the trajectory of my entire life? When you annoyed with yourself, question whether you still think about this error when you grew much older. Usually, the answer is no. And once you realize that, you liberate yourself from wasting mental energy dwelling on it. This question proves valuable in personal relationships too. Minor disputes and communication breakdowns frequently consume too much space in our thinking. But when you pull back and recognize they to hold significance down the road, you can release them more readily, preventing pointless friction. The Stoics existed with a constant recognition of life, its brevity. They understood they couldn't afford to be obsessed with matters that wouldn't hold importance in the grand scheme. They reserved their attention for what genuinely mattered, living with integrity, displaying courage, showing kindness, and pursuing meaningful purpose. The next time you sense anger or irritation building inside you, stop for a moment. Picture yourself reflecting on this exact situation 12 months into the future. Will you still think about it? Will it have transformed your life in any meaningful way? If the answer is no, let it go. This isn't about dodging responsibility. It is about denying trivial matters the authority to disrupt your inner peace. The more you implement this practice, the more effortless your days will become. You observe that most of the world's commotion doesn't deserve your mental bandwidth. And within that mental clarity, you discover the power to concentrate on what genuinely holds value. Principle number 7, do little hard things. Inner calm doesn't get constructed in comfortable situations. It gets constructed through facing challenges. If you only tackle what feels easy, you reconditioning yourself to fall apart when life presents difficulty. But if you consistently select small challenging tasks, you develop resilience, mental toughness, and become much harder to destabilize. The Stoics implemented this through what they termed voluntary discomfort. They would purposefully embrace challenges, even when completely unnecessary, so that actual hardship would never find them unprepared. Seneca documented this approach. Designate specific days during which you will accept the most basic and inexpensive food, along with rough and uncomfortable clothing, while asking yourself, is this the situation I was dreading? By tackling small difficult tasks, whether that involves rising earlier than you prefer, working out when you rather relax, voicing your opinion when it feels awkward, or refusing requests when agreeing seems simpler, you condition your mind to manage discomfort without surrendering your composure. Here's the reason this approach succeeds. First, you enlarge your comfort zone. Each minor challenge increases your capability to manage larger obstacles. Second, you eliminate fear, its control over you. When you confront difficulty by choice, fear releases its hold. Third, you develop greater self-trust. You begin genuinely believing in your capacity to manage whatever arrives. You don't need to pursue extreme challenges immediately. The Stoics believed that even modest acts of discipline, performed consistently, construct a formidable mind. This might involve enduring a cold shower, selecting the nutritious meal when you craving unhealthy food, leaving your phone in a different room for 60 minutes, or walking short distances instead of driving. These minor demonstrations of self-discipline become protective armor. When unanticipated difficulties emerge, you don't crumble because you've been preparing for exactly this. You understand that discomfort is survivable, occasionally even advantageous. The greatest benefit? When you intentionally pursue difficult tasks, life's unavoidable difficult moments feel less crushing. You're not encountering discomfort as a stranger, you recognizing a familiar companion. The Stoics didn't pursue suffering simply for its own sake. They pursued strength, and strength emerges from pushing your boundaries, not remaining safely within them. Modern existence attempts to make everything as effortless as possible, but comfort, despite being pleasant, can leave you vulnerable. Small, difficult tasks keep you mentally sharp, properly prepared, and emotionally stable. So begin modestly. Select one thing today that feels slightly uncomfortable and complete it intentionally. Then observe how your self-confidence expands. Not because life becomes less challenging, but because you become more capable. Principle number 8. Let insults go. One of the quickest methods to surrender your composure is clinging to insults. When somebody delivers something disrespectful or unjust, your immediate impulse might be to grasp onto the pain and mentally replay it repeatedly. But this only grants power to words that don't merit it. The Stoics instructed that insults function like arrows. You don't need to catch them. You can allow them to drop harmlessly onto the ground rather than holding them internally. Epictetus stated, It's not the event itself affecting you, but rather your response to it that creates the impact. This indicates that the insult itself doesn't create disturbance. It's your decision to feel disturbed. You control whether harsh words become actual injuries or merely background noise. Clinging to insults transforms your mind into a war zone. You mentally replay the statements, construct imaginary responses, or nurture resentment. But none of this alters the insult. It merely keeps you imprisoned in that moment and robs you of your peace. Instead, practice releasing insults like watching leaves drift down a flowing stream. Notice the insult exists, recognize it happened, and then release it from your mind. This doesn't suggest ignoring genuine disrespect or tolerating harmful behavior. It means you refuse to grant the insult authority over your internal calm. Here are methods to practice releasing insults. First, remember that insults reveal more about the person delivering them than about you. Frequently, people insult others because of their personal suffering or feelings of inadequacy. Second, concentrate on your core values, not their statements. If you understand your identity and your principles, insults cannot destabilize your sense of self. Third, employ silence as your defense. Occasionally, the most powerful response is offering no response whatsoever. Silence can serve as a method to safeguard your peace and demonstrate inner strength. When you decline to mentally carry insults around with you, you become impossible to reach emotionally. People forfeit their ability to wound you because you refuse to provide them that power. Developing this habit requires patience. It is completely normal to feel the initial sharp pain. But as you keep practicing, you acquire increasing freedom. You discover that your peace expands each time you allow an insult to pass by without mentally grabbing onto it. The Stoics weren't emotionally detached. They valued justice and respect tremendously, but they deliberately refused to surrender their composure to insults that didn't warrant it. Principle number 9. Focus on what you can do. One of the most tranquil mental spaces you can occupy is the zone of control, where you direct your energy exclusively toward what you can genuinely change. When you squander time being anxious about matters beyond your influence, your composure vanishes rapidly. The Stoics excelled at this concept. They separated existence into two distinct categories: matters we can control and matters we cannot. They deliberately concentrated solely on their personal thoughts, behaviors, and decisions because this is where their genuine power existed. Epictetus explained, "Maximize what lies within your power and accept everything else as it unfolds." This straightforward statement provides a blueprint for achieving calm. When you concentrate on what you can accomplish, you quit running in exhausting circles of irritation about what lies beyond your reach. Here is how to implement this practically. First, determine your sphere of influence. When confronting a challenge, write down which aspects you can affect and which aspects you cannot. Second, take concrete steps on what falls within your control. Channel your energy into those specific actions regardless of how minor they seem. Third, make peace with what you cannot alter. Release the compulsion to repair what cannot be fixed or stress about what remains unpredictable. Consider being anxious about weather conditions before an outdoor gathering. You cannot alter whether rain falls, but you can bring along an umbrella or reschedule for another date. When you take action on what is possible, you experience greater stability and reduced anxiety. This perspective benefits relationships, professional situations, health matters, and every life dimension. Rather than fixating on others' judgments, you concentrate on your personal conduct. Rather than dreading what is ahead, you prepare yourself for what you can shape. The world overflows with elements beyond your influence: traffic patterns, other people, decisions, natural occurrences. But your composure depends on internalizing this reality. Your strength resides in your reaction, not in the occurrence itself. When you exist in this mental space, peace transforms into your normal condition, not a temporary guest. I want you to share this statement in the comments. I focus on what I can control and release the rest. Principle number 10. Keep good company. Your inner peace gets profoundly shaped by the individuals you invest time with. If you position yourself among negativity, theatrical behavior, or perpetual complaining, maintaining calm becomes nearly impossible. Conversely, quality companionship can elevate you, soothe you, and remind you of what genuinely holds importance. The Stoics recognized the strength of community and made thoughtful selections about their social circles. They grasped that your companions mold your thinking patterns, behavioral habits, and emotional responses. Epictetus advised, spend time with individuals who are likely to improve you. This isn't about passing judgment on others, but about defending your mental space. When you invest time with composed, reflective, and uplifting individuals, you naturally begin absorbing those characteristics. Their calmness spreads to you. Here is how to cultivate quality companionship in your existence. First, pursue those who demonstrate self-discipline and compassion. These traits help establish a peaceful environment. Second, reduce time spent with those who deplete your vitality. Not everyone will reinforce your calm, and accepting that is perfectly fine. Third, participate in discussions that strengthen you. Steer clear of gossip, perpetual complaints, or negativity that pulls you downward. Quality companionship also involves becoming the type of individual others desire to be near. When you develop your personal calm, patience, and kindness, you don't merely protect your own peace. You also generate peace for those surrounding you. Keep in mind, calm isn't merely an individual accomplishment. It is a contribution you offer to your community. Select your companions thoughtfully, and your calm will strengthen daily. Principle number 11. Live in the now. One of calm's most formidable adversaries is mental distraction, being anxious about yesterday or being stressed about tomorrow. When your thoughts get trapped in what if scenarios or if only regrets, experiencing peace becomes extremely difficult. The Stoics instructed that genuine calm emerges from completely inhabiting the present moment. Seneca expressed, authentic happiness means appreciating the present without nervous reliance on what is coming next. Living in the now means embracing life exactly as it exists right at this moment, not as you desire it to exist. It means channeling your energy into what you accomplishing at this instant instead of getting dragged away by past regrets or future anxieties. Here is how to implement living in the now. First, recognize when your thoughts wander toward the past or future. Softly redirect your focus back to the present instant. Second, concentrate on your breathing or physical sensations. Experience the air, listen to surrounding sounds, observe details in your environment. This roots you in the now. Third, immerse yourself completely in your present activity, whether it is working, conversing with someone, or simply taking a walk. Dedicate your complete attention to it. When you inhabit the now, you liberate yourself from pointless anxieties. Challenges appear more manageable because they are no longer amplified by worry about potential outcomes. You deliver responses instead of instant reactions, composed and lucid. Keep this in mind. Yesterday is finished and tomorrow remains uncertain. What you possess is this exact moment, and the way you decide to experience it determines both your composure and your existence. Principle number 12. Remember, life is short. One of the most profound motivations for never surrendering your composure is recognizing that life's duration is limited. Being consumed by worry, rage, and irritation steals valuable time from moments you could experience in peace. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself, to behave as though you exist for 10,000 years. Death looms over you during your lifetime, while it remains within your capability. Be virtuous. This consciousness isn't designed to frighten you. It is designed to liberate you. Once you grasp how fleeting your time truly is, you start caring less about minor irritations and more about what genuinely holds significance. Consider how many daily moments get consumed by anger or tension over matters that don't merit your energy. Picture substituting those moments with composure and mental clarity instead. Keeping its brevity in mind motivates you to forgive more rapidly, abandon resentments, and avoid obsessing over trivial matters. It directs you toward kindness, appreciation, and purposeful behavior. Existing with this outlook transforms composure into a decision that respects both your time and your essence. You don't want to arrive at life as conclusion wishing you had spent less time being furious and more time being peaceful. So when life attempts to drag you into turmoil, remind yourself, your time has limits. Grip your composure as your most treasured asset. I want you to share this statement in the comments. I honor my life by choosing calm every day. Conclusion. Your calm is your power in a world that frequently seems noisy and disordered. Composure represents your most formidable strength. It's not fragility or passivity. It's resilience and mental precision. The 12 Stoic principles we examined together are instruments to help you construct that composure gradually, one step at a time, one day after another. Keep this truth close. The world demands reactions from you, but your peace is exclusively yours. By defending your thoughts, waiting before speaking, viewing challenges as development opportunities, anticipating difficulties, safeguarding your peace, concentrating on what holds value, and fully inhabiting the present, you transform into someone who cannot be shaken. The Stoics instructed that composure is a deliberate choice, not something that occurs to you randomly, but something you actively build. And when you select composure, you don't merely endure life as turbulence, you emerge more capable through experiencing them. So refuse to let any person or any circumstance rob you of your peace. Your composure is your strength. Defend it relentlessly and exist with the understated power that only emerges from a tranquil mind. If this guidance has resonated with you, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to strengthen the channel. Don't bypass any segments of this video because each principle connects to the others. Let's develop composure and resilience together. I want you to share this final statement in the comments. Calm wins and I choose calm every day.